What's up everyone? Today we're going to talk about finding your sticking point for a lift. Let's get started. So you're attempting a PR lift or a heavy set of 5 and you get stuck. It's the same spot you always get stuck in and you call it your sticking point and you decide you're weak in that position. So the obvious thing to do is to pick an assistance lift like some pin or pause work and place it right on that sticking point. But what if I told you that might not actually be your sticking point and we can use some physics to explain what I'm talking about? Class, let's talk about my favorite physics equation. F equals ma. F stands for the force acting on an object, which in this case is the barbell. M stands for the mass, which is the weight of the barbell divided by gravity. But for this video, let's just say the weight you'll be lifting. And finally, A stands for acceleration, which can be a positive number if you're increasing the speed of the barbell, or a negative number if the barbell is slowing down. Now let's look at how this applies to lifting. Let's look at the deadlift, for example. When the bar is on the ground, there's no force being produced because the bar is not moving, so there's no speeding up or acceleration. But as you begin to pull, the bar breaks from the ground, the amount of force produced increases because the bar goes from not moving to moving, or it accelerates. Finally, the bar will start to decelerate either at the lockout of the deadlift to finish the rep, or because the bar is so heavy that it can't produce enough force to stay at a constant speed, so it has to slow down. So it's a constant battle to see if you can keep the bar moving against it wanting to decelerate or eventually stop. If we look at a deadlift where someone hits their sticking point and fails, instead of looking at the point where they get stuck, we need to look before that point at where the bar starts to decelerate. That's the point where your body, either because of your movement mechanics or you're just not strong enough, can't produce enough force to keep the bar moving at that constant speed. So it starts to slow down or starts to stick. So you found your sticking point for a lift, but what do you do now? There seems to be 2 different ways you can go about it. You use an assistance lift like a rack pull and place the emphasis right at that sticking point and strengthen that position. But can you actually strengthen a specific part of a movement and get rid of a sticking point? I would say I'm not really sure, but what I think is more realistic is to make sure the athlete doesn't have any major technical issues that are causing these sticking points, and then from there, just get them stronger. Instead of having the mindset to get rid of that sticking point, I think a better way to go about it is to try to increase the intensity or weight that causes the sticking point to happen. Often, these sticking points are caused from the way our body's shaped or our anthropometry, which is pretty hard to change. So if we get this sticking point on a deadlift every time we lift more than 400 pounds, a good goal to have would be to get someone stronger, possibly using a specific assistance lift, to a point where they don't have that sticking point until they deadlift more than 450 pounds.